Rabbi Marasow, everything you say will be held in court against you. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm so scared.
all right, Rabbi said, let me tell you what we do. We're right now learning. This kfutza learns twice a week a shir in Hilchos Melicha right now. There's other groups, obviously, in the other topics. Now, it happens to be that this group is over over a million or so, and Melicha is one of those topics that could be interesting, could be way over people's heads because us Americans, you're a Canadian, but us Americans, we're spoiled. We want to have a meat. We go to the butcher and we buy it ready made. We go to finished. We don't know what goes in, what process has to be done way before, and why. Perhaps that's the reason why kosher meat is so expensive because we have so many issues, extra things we have to do. So, we're actually learning Hilchos Melicha. So we're concentrating on one part. We're not concentrating on the nikkur, or we're not concentrating on the chelev and the gidei adam. Just the Melicha part. We learn Siman Samach Tes and Siman Ayin Gimel, which is the kaveh, the heart. So we have a special guest with us, and the special guest happens to be my distant relative also. Rabbi Marasow is an expert shochet in Montreal. So we all know the story of the woman coming to the Rav and telling the Rav, asking the Rav a shayla, says, Rabbi, here's the chicken. Tell me what the din is. It looks bruised. It looks scary. Is it kosher or not? So the Rav gives a look, puts on his professor-looking glasses, and says, "Aha! If what I'm looking at is the heart, then the chicken is not kosher. If what I'm looking at is the liver or something other body part, it's kosher." In other words, the Rav did what we were doing all along, learning mechaber amah shach taz. But bottom line, he doesn't know what a heart and what a lung, what a liver looks like. Rabbi Marasow does this for a living with his expertise for many years. So the first thing is I'm gonna shoot some questions for him to explain to us how what we are learning actually happens Ma'aseh b'Poel, and then it will be open for questions. Take advantage of having a hands-on shochet. If you didn't understand anything that we learned in Shachs and Taz, maybe it will be more relevant. Rabbi Marasow, I'm going to start.
Yeah,
First of all, Yashikoyach. I know you're a busy man, and, and,
very.
and the only reason I got him is because we're mechatanim. My son is married to his daughter, so that's that. He's a busy schedule. Okay, Rabbi Marasow. One thing
Yeah.
that bothers me a lot and a lot, is when we learn Hadocha Achreina. The Mechaber says you need to do nifutz or shtifa first. Before you even put it into the water, you have to scrub off the salt or rinse off the salt. And there's a pashta svara. The Rashba says a svara. The salt is bloody, and there's still blood. And who knows if it's going to push its way back in. And the poyo, I've gone to shlachtoses. I've never seen nifutz or shtifa. I've seen that it goes straight from after the conveyor belt, plop into the tub. Now I know that Amos says that you could 3 tubs are good enough, but
That's
why
what they
would
do.
we? What is it Lepoyo done? I don't know why we're starting with Adocha Achrayna first, but that's where we're up to. So it always bothered me. I never saw it.
I don't know what to tell you, but in all facilities they do 3 hadachas. They put it into one, and then in another one, and another one.
But the
Uh,
pre Adocha Achrayna they don't do.
they, I don't know because I'm a sheikhet and I'm not in the butcher shop. But most places have 3 hadachas instead of 2, and the first one should be nifutz shtifa. They just put it in one, and the other, and in the other.
Okay, so let me start with a ground zero question. When you
Yeah,
shech the behema, the
yeah,
blood coming out, is
yeah.
it is it cold,
Boiling.
warm?
It's
No, I'm saying right when you shech, you slit the simanim. How warm is? I mean, I know there's the whole shit of how far it penetrates, but the blood that's coming out is cold, lukewarm, warm, hot. What would you rate that?
It's 98.6 degrees. I don't know how hot the animal is. It's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah,
So what stops the blood if it's a reteach? What
yeah.
stops the blood from going into the busser back as it's gushing?
Okay, so number one, the buzzer that's in contact with the blood that's coming out is usually not eaten because the animal is skinned and is cut up. And when it comes to the butcher shop, the part in the neck, the meat that's next to the neck, usually it's a little red and it's dam be'en. They cut it all off.
Kedei klipa. They take off kedei klipa.
They take off kedei netila, not kedei klipa. They take it all off. There's no red over there. And also on the part by the head, there's nothing that you eat over there. It's just the tabas agdela, the veishit, and the meat that's not edible. So there's no meat that comes to your plate that has any contact with the dam that came out b'shas the shechit.
Okay, for Rabbi Marasow, when you start using tabas agdela, that's Chinese to all of us. So
well, it's the kona and the veishit. How do you say it in English? The esophagus and the trach,
which nobody eats, right?
No.
So you're not worried about the blood coming out as being an issue, because meaning even though it's hot, it's warm. It won't affect anything. How about affecting your chalif?
In halacha it's brought down, but anyways, we don't eat that part of the meat anyways. So
how about the chalif?
Not I'm talking about the chalif. What happens if you're shechting, let's say 10 behemoths, and the first 2 are treif because of the bedike, and it was a reiseach, right? Because duchke de sakine makes, and also the sichas hadam makes it like a reiseach. Then you go chef the next behemoth, and it becomes kosher.
Yeah.
So you have again duchke de sakine, and it's a ben yoimei. So it becomes also again that meat.
So what's the answer?
The answer is we don't eat that meat.
You don't eat the third meat?
The second or the third or the fourth. You know, the place that the chalif, the sakin shashchita touches doesn't come in contact with the meat that we eat.
Let me explain. Let me explain, Rabbi. I think, is this a practical thing? A very practical.
Yes.
Huh?
We chef, let's say 100 behemoths. We have 20 or 30 that are kosher. 20
or 30 that are kosher.
Yes.
For every 100, you say there's 80 that are not kosher. When you say not kosher,
let's give it 30%.
When you say not kosher, you mean not kosher or not glatt?
I'm going to tell you not kosher.
Wow.
Over here in America.
Huh?
In America. Maybe in the warm countries, different climate, they have a bigger percentage kosher. They have like 50, 60%.
Okay, so
maybe more.
Rabbi, so let me explain what he just said. He just said there's a very big problem. If for every 100 behemoths, 70 of them or whatever are not kosher, when he shechts those, and he'll never know that. Why will he never know that? Because he shechts the behemoth, and they'll only, when they open up the insides, they'll find something that makes it treif. So his knife that cut that behemoth just shechted a treif of behemoth. So how could he use that knife on going from what, by chickens it's less of a problem, right?
Right, but it's also it could be the same problem. But anyway, we don't even the part in the gargula that if you touch it with the chalif over there, they cut it up because it becomes dam be'en.
Right. So let me. So the question is, if he in a day's work he shechts 100 behemoths, they're only finding out later in the day which ones they're taking off which ones they're taking off the line, which one they're saying treif, and he used the same knife. How many knives? What does it mean when the Chazal say Shochet tzarich sheyil lo gimel sakinim? Is there
that has to do one for the shechita, one for the dinkur, and one for after hadocha, Melicha and hadocha.
Okay, that's all right. So let me. So if you find out that he shechted treif and the blood coming out is warm, it's not yatzei levis. It's below yatzei levis. There's a
but look at the sakina makes it like yatzei levis.
Look in the beginning of Shmir Shabbos Kosher, you see that Shlomo Zalman Auerbach actually tested. In the Haaretz there, they say he actually tested that to see what the exact temperature is from the blood coming out. So there's non-kosher blood and his knife, and then he goes on and continues cutting other behemoths. So he just used a non-kosher knife to shecht the other ones. So he's saying that because every time you shecht an animal, you usually don't eat the area close enough to where the shechita was. So even if the animal was a problem, even if the knife was a problem, it didn't transfer into the next animal. So in other words, Rabbi Marasow, what you're saying is, the etzem, you could use a Boy Scout, it's a sharp knife, a chazer knife, and shecht an animal.
Yeah.
As long as it's sharp, as long as it's a chad v'chola.
According to the halacha, yeah. As long as according to the halacha.
So he writes, you don't see the chats. Our Yalev Hillman writes, so what's the status of the chicken necks that we use for Pesach?
What?
The chicken necks, the chicken necks. The tavar.
They're delicious.
Huh?
Delicious.
Hey, our Yalev Hillman is a Russishes. He talks your language. Okay, by the way, before we go on, I have to tell you that we have over here the United Nations. We have people from South Africa, people from all over the country here. So, okay, so
I want to answer just want to answer this question a little bit clearer. If it has a hechsher from a reliable hechsher, you don't have to worry about any of these shilohs about the chicken eggs or whatever. Everything is done proper, and you shouldn't worry.
True, but we have over here, you can't see him because we have a limited people you can see. We have our younger man here called Asher Liblach, and his son or daughter are shlichus in Hudson-Plot somewhere in a third world country, and he does everything in his backyard, like you. You do
I don't.
Huh?
I don't do anything in my backyard. I get meat from the store.
Okay. All right. So let's start from the beginning. Now that we have a little picture. So we have in Shulchan Aruch, we talk about dam be'ain and dam plata. Dam be'ain you get rid of by washing it. Dam plata you have to do a suction. For that we do melicha or tzli, whatever it is. Very seldom, besides for the covered, very seldom you have issues with tzli. We're spoiled rotten. We want to have our chicken or meat the way cooked. We don't want it dafka roasted. So now the question is, how is it that you're able to go into the store now, buy a chicken, and you'll find the liver still inside? How is it sometimes you find frozen chicken, and you'll find the liver there?
I don't know. I never heard of that.
Okay. So
Montreal, you can't get it like that.
Let's say the liver was taken out b'shas de Melicha, but if the liver is raw, are we makpid? The liver should be taken care of within shleisha yamim or not? The tzli of the liver, does that have to be within shleisha yamim or not?
That's a whole different. Api halacha doesn't have to be, but you cannot. If you do the tzli of the liver after 3 days, you cannot fry it or cook it or do anything else with it.
Right.
So you want to have chopped liver, and usually you fry an onion and you put the liver inside it, and then it becomes very tasty. Then you grind it up. You can't do that.
Okay. So let's help us out here with Olam practical. What the first thing is, you as a shochet, you have to make sure your knife is crisp, chad v'cholok. That's your job. The Baal Shem Tov has aufwaschen the knife with threading, yeah? So, and it's the sichos, Rabbi saying the sichos from the Frierdiker Rebbe, when the Frierdiker Rebbe wanted to show who was the most honorable person in the community, I don't know if honorable was the right, most trustworthy person in the community, it wasn't the rabbi. The rabbi, all he knows, he's a computer. He knows the halacha. It was the melamed, the teacher, and the shochet. They were considered the most biggest Yerushalayim. You're putting your faith. In other words, you're putting your faith if you're eating kosher or not in his hands. So we have to have a tremendous amount of Yerushalayim in a shochet. He has to make sure his knife is clean, and when they stick in their hand into the stomach or to make sure that it's glad or not, there's a tremendous amount of trust we're putting into them. Nobody's going in there with them. So there's really a high level of Yerushalayim and a shochet. So Rabbi, could you do me a favor? Could you go through, I know this is a dumb question, go through the standard procedure of, this is a long question, from when you get to stand in front of a cow until it ends up in the butcher.
Okay. Let's say we shecht on average over here. I'm just saying how it goes over here. We do let's say 100 beef a day. Okay,
Is that
So
a high? Is that a high number or a low?
it depends on the place. I'm just giving you an example. It's a dugvin. Each animal that we shecht, we have to keep track of each animal that's shechted from when the shechita was done till after we know it's kosher or not. In other words, we'll start from number 1, and then we're going to go to 100. And each one, we have to put a number on it. What we do here, we put a number on the tongue, on each one, number 1, number 2, number 3. If there was a problem with the shechita of, let's say, number 6, okay? Now, there's another thing. The shochet stands in one place, and whoever checks the lungs stands in a different room. So we have to make a siman on, let's say, number 6, that there's a problem with the shechita. We write a number on it, and then we make a line on it, and then we have to go to the mashgiach or notify the mashgiach that number 6 is no good, because the guy that's going to check the lungs of that animal, if he doesn't know that number 6 is no good, he'll go inside and check the lungs and says, "Oh, it's glatt, it's very good," and he can tell the mashgiach to stamp it, which chas v'shalom is not a good idea.
So you're saying because there are different reasons why the animal could be rated not good. You're rating it from your part, from your shchita. The next person will be rating it from his part, from the
an open communication the whole time, even though it's a facility, there's a lot of noise, and we have to make sure that every single one is accounted for what happened to it. Then the other guy that's standing where they take out the kishkis, the guts. So he's standing there, and he has a little knife, and he makes an incision on both sides of the diaphragm, and he checks the lungs. If the lungs has a little.
You don't know how to say sircha of English?
No.
It's gooey stuff. It looks like bubble.
No, it's not gooey stuff.
It looks like bubble gum. It's like spayach, no?
Yeah, not really. Let's say dried out spayachs. How do you say spayachs in English?
Saliva.
But what happens is, if there's any hole, a nekev that's in the Evarim Apnimiyim, so then the animal is not kosher.
Evarim Apnimiyim are vital organs.
Okay.
What would be vital organs? Which are the organs that they check?
Well, we only have to check on stuff where there's a mute hamatzui. Something that's out of the ordinary, never happens, we don't have to check. If we see it, and it's a problem, we don't want to take it. But there's a miyot hamotzi, which is a minority that we do find, so here we have to check. So we do check on the basic cases.
Do you say that in English? What the basic cases is?
Or the keres, it's the first stomach. The animal, a kosher animal has 5 stomachs. 5 stomachs. You have the hamsters, the basic cases, the keva, the keres. These are 5 different. When it chooses cut, it brings the food up, and then it goes into a different compartment. So a lot of times the cow would eat grass. Sometimes it will eat a nail, swallow it, and then it will make a hole in the first stomach. And I could see that when he takes out the stomach, I could see if there's an abscess there. Okay, that's something that happens quite often. I would say from 100 animals that we do on an average, we can find, let's say, 1 or 2, sometimes 3. It depends sometimes 5. It depends on the farmer. If it's a good farmer, he takes care of his animals, we don't find it. But if it's a little bit not such a good farmer, and there's like nails or stuff, so we do find it. And if we find it, the animal's not kosher.
Is there such a benefit from organic behemoths? Is there? I mean, you made it sound that good farmers could produce more kosher behemoths. Is that true?
Yes, true. But I don't think it has to do with organic. It has to do with a little bit organic, but make sure the animal is it's always clean over there. There's good ventilation. There's enough water. The food is good. The food is not mixed with stones and nails and who knows what. Because a cow eats a lot of grass a day, and I will tell you that the animals that are corn fed have a less percentage of kosher because it's not natural their food, and it makes them sick. So I guess organic is better.
But sick, how do you rate sick? Sick
is the lungs are stuck to the slice.
Slice our ribs. I feel like
Yeah, it's just even the inspector would say, "Oh, these are terrible." Like they don't. They could be nice and fat and a lot of marble on it, but health-wise, they're not healthy.
okay.
And then after that, we check we cut into make two incisions in the diaphragm, and I put my hand in there and I go through the whole lung, every part of the lung, to see if there's anything that goes from the lung, a little string. Let's say it's called a sirche or a rear. It feels like a little string that goes from any part of the lung to anywhere, from one part of the lung to the other part of the lung, or from one part of the lung till to the heart, or to the diaphragm, to the ribs, whatever it is. And the body determines if it's even worth to take it out, and we could do something with it and make it kosher, or it's no good. Like you feel it inside. I could tell you, or a regular body could tell you if the animal would be a kosher one, or don't even bother.
And that's a talent, right? Is that's a talent
That's
that you develop?
practice. It's just a lot of practice, and until you get the swing of it.
Now, what did you mean? You said, "Is there anything I could do to make it kosher?" What does that
Right.
mean?
That means that's called Melicha spinning.
Right.
Then Baidik writes down on a piece of paper, writes down all the little things that he found on this lung. And let's say this lung is number 6 or number 8 or whatever it is. So he writes on the lung, he writes a number with a marker, and on the paper he writes number 8. Either they have a different person that does B'dikas Chutz, or the same Baidik Pnim does B'dikas Chutz, doesn't matter.
You have to explain what B'dikas Pnim, B'dikas Chutz. Explain that.
Name is that the guy who stands there, the rabbi, he puts his hand inside and he checks the lung, all the problems that there is in the lung, if there is problems or there isn't problems, and then he has to write it down. He writes it down like the medical report, and then when they take out the lung, there's a table there with a pipe that blows air, which the Baidik Chutz, the guy who is going to inspect this lung now, he has control how much air he's going to put into it goes with a pedal usually, and you press the pedal and like you blow up a tire, so you blow up the lung, okay? And then he goes to the place where it's written on the piece of paper where there was the problem, and he examines it. If it comes off very lightly without any hard work, and then once it's blown up, you put water over it, like you check a tire if it has a hole and it doesn't bubble. So then we say it's kosher.
Why? But it comes up easily. You're saying there's a hole.
If the sirche comes off and there's no hole.
Comes off.
And there's no. I'm Canadian, and there's no hole on it. So then you it's called b'dikas paishin.
Yeah.
You check it with warm water, not hot, but warm water, and it doesn't bubble. So then the behemoth is kosher.
Now the reason why one is called pnim and one is called chutz is because this is the one you're sticking in your head into the animal. This one is right. That's it. That's the only reason why this is called pnim and chutz.
Exactly.
And this one is when the lung is on the table, and you're only checking the lung. You're not checking the heart, are you?
Nothing. No, I don't have to check the heart.
Why not?
Because it's not a mute hamotzi that there's a problem in the heart.
So the only thing you check is the lung.
No, the lung and the keres.
The stomach.
The stomach. If I see that there is an issue with the heart, I see the heart, I'm not gonna take it.
What kind of issue would you see in the heart?
It happens seldom. It does happen, especially with animals that are not healthy. The type of shalev, which is the membrane around the heart, is stuck to the heart, which is a no-no.
That means it's not healthy.
And it's not good. Why? I don't know if this is... Yeah, it's in treifus. Is it? Sure. It's in Melicha also, because lev is... Oh, no. It's in treifus. The lev is
smooth.
It's smooth. What's the lashon? No?
Shia.
Yeah, smooth.
So 1 second. This scam that I want you to explain, if you don't mind. The scam that you hear people selling glatt kosher chicken. That's a Bubba Mice. Is that right?
I don't know what it is. You'll have to ask them exactly what it means and then report back.
But why is that? Could you explain why it's a Baba Misa?
I didn't say it's a bum. I don't know what it means. You have to ask them.
Is there such a thing that you don't by chicken? Your whole process that you just said, how does it shift when you're shechting chickens? Hundreds of chickens. Nobody,
No,
huh?
thousands.
Yeah. So what are you checking by chickens?
By chickens, honestly, I was never in the other side where they inspect the chickens, but there's a mishgiach. There's some they do now. They started doing a couple of years ago tzaymis hagid in America. Usually they should do it only in Eretz Yisrael, and they started finding problems with the tzaymis hagidim, so they checked that. This is the
you want to explain what the tzaymis hagid is?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the right word. The fizzle. No, the chicken has 4 fingers, right? 4 toes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Those toes are connected to 16 tendons. Okay. And by chicken, even if one of them is let's say disconnected or has a reyes, it's like infected or some problem, the chicken is no good.
Is that chicken going to die within 12 months?
I can't answer you. I'm just telling you what it says.
That's the definition of treif. Isn't that the definition of treif?
But this chicken is 4 weeks old, so I don't know. But by a behemoth, it has to be Rav Minyan or Rav Binyan. By behemoth, there's 1 thick one and 2 the skinnier ones. So it has to be either
you have
2.
To explain what that means. What do you mean thick and skinny?
There's 1 fat one, like this, fat, I would say.
Fat what? Fat what?
Tendons.
Okay.
So by behemoth, it has to be either 2 or the big one. But by a chicken, even 1 that was disconnected, dislocated, or whatever you want to call it, injured, the chicken is no good. So they never had this problem in America because it was never an issue. And now they're starting to see also in America that there's a problem with these things. So what they do now over here at Marvin is they each truck that comes in, they make like a test. The first 100 or 200, if there's a problem, if we have an issue with it, like how much the Rabbanim are the ones that decide how much what percentage they're going to let through, 3% or 2%, I don't know exactly. And a lot of times they just send the truck back to the farmer and they just don't take that truck. That's like 5,000 chickens.
Live chickens.
Yeah, they only check like 100 at a time at the beginning, and to see when it goes through the system if the gidim are good.
Okay, so now this is actually a question in Taruvis more, but some of these guys learned already Taruvis. How often do you have a mess up where a treifa animal? I keep on saying it happens. A treifa animal was misplaced and you don't know where it is in the cooler. Or this tongue, we just learned in Taruvis another class, is you're trying to find out which head it's from, whatever. How often, could you please share with us the Seidas from the Cheder, what problems do happen?
We don't usually have these problems because each tongue has a number on it. But us, we write it with a pencil, a special pencil that when it's wet, it gives it like a blue marker on it, and the number is written.
Well, that's specifically a tongue. How about if you're shechting? How many chickens do you shecht an hour?
Chickens, we do like 5,000 an hour.
That's not one person. How much is per person?
Chicken is it's a different it's a different system. There's a bunch of mashgichim. If I have a problem by the shchita, I have a problem by the shchita by the chickens, right? I take that chicken and I throw it into the garbage. Period.
But it's already a mile down on the hook.
Well, you're not listening. So there's no problem by the shchita by the chickens. It's not that there's going to be 20% kosher in the chickens. Okay?
Why?
Number 2, it goes down the line, and after they're flicked, the mashgiach, when they take out the kishkis don't come out all the way. The mashgiach stands there, and the kishkis are hanging. If he sees a problem, he takes the whole chicken and he throws it out.
So it's hanging with the chicken.
Yes, yes. The legs. Now the tzayvus hagidim are the first things that are checked when they still have right after they're flicked, even before, right after they're plucked, even before they open anything. There's a mishgiach standing there with a razor, and he cuts into the leg of the chicken, into the foot of the chicken, to see if all the tzemes agidim are fine. And I don't know exactly how it's like how much, what's the percentage that they let through or not. But this is the Rabbanim's department, not mine.
But that's issues that you find out once you cut it open. It does happen that sometimes the shchita was done wrong.
There's no such thing. There is no such a thing by the chickens.
What do you mean? You cut too much. You cut.
So if I have a problem with this chicken, I take this chicken and I throw it out.
Yeah, but is it moving?
No, it doesn't go like that. It goes because when I shech the chicken is not on the rail. It is the guy is holding the chicken.
5,000 of them. They're standing like this. Boom, boom, boom.
No. The guy is holding the chicken in front of me, and I shecht it. And I say, okay. He takes it and he hangs it up. I say, it's not okay. It goes straight into the garbage can.
But the Stei Chemet had a problem with the kaparis. Where it's all the shits in kapar. The
system is very set up. I'll tell you something. Maybe you want to hear this.
Yeah.
There's, let's say, by the chickens, we have, each place is different. We have, let's say, 7 people standing on the line. 7 shochet. Okay? Now, as the line has every 5 feet, there's a little tag, a little plastic thing that has a number on it. When I start shechting, I look at the number. I see it's number 22. Right? By the chicken is in my hand, okay? And he hangs it up after I finish the shechita on number 22. And this keeps on going. Every 3 minutes, there's a bell that rings, okay? And when the bell rings, we all stop shechting. All the 7 shoftim stop shechting. And we have to check our sakin. We have to check our challah. And everybody knows what number we started. Let's say I started number 22. And now when I'm checking 3 minutes later, it's number 62. Okay? And then I have a problem. I see there's a problem with my challah. So there's a bell that I ring. Ding. A Baidik Sakidim runs down on the spot. And he asks me, this is the question he's going to ask me. What number did you start shechting? I said 22. If he finds there's a problem with the challah and it's no good, he says, what number did you start shechting? I said 22. And what number did you finish? I said 52, whatever it is. Okay, he takes all those chickens from number 22. He goes to the line where the line is. He runs all the way because it's a very big place. And from number 22 till number 52, all those chickens, which is like about 250 chickens, goes for treif.
How does 22 to 52 become 250 chickens?
Because there's 7. Because
you're all on the same. Yeah.
We're all on the same track, and between one number and the other number.
Because one shaychet's knife had a pagima.
Had a shaila, not a bit of pagima, even a shaila. They won't take it, and it goes. He has a goyish customer, and all those goes for treif. There's the mashgiach that's notified. There's a few mashgiachim, and all those goes on a different rail, and it goes into a treif department.
Okay, that's because by you guys that's not hefsa maruba. But if a guy is living in the Alta Shtetl with 5 chickens, 10 chickens, he's not. You don't
He has no choice. If it's not good, it's not good. If it's good, it's good. There's nothing you can do.
No, in your case, he threw out 250 chickens on the suffix that your knife cut 5 of them, 20, 30 of them, whatever.
He doesn't lose. He doesn't sell it for kosher, but he sells it for treif.
Okay.
It's not that he has a customer for it.
Okay, fine. Let's go weiter. So we.
Any questions?
No. Wait. People are writing questions on the chat. I'll post them soon. But I want to go. We're actually learning Melicha. We're learning Dam. Could you? The next process. What is the chaylev, the nikur, right?
The chickens don't have chaylev.
Right. Yeah, but I'm talking behema.
The behema is So we only take the. So after we do b'dikas chutz on the behemoth, and we let's say number 26 becomes kosher, so you notify the mashgiach. That number, the mashgiach is standing here next to me. At number 26, each animal, the mashgiach, us, writes a number on the animal with a marker. Number 26, 26. And he has to put a tag.
The question is, these numbers help very little because
help a lot.
I'll tell you why. In 5 minutes, that behemoth is chopped into pieces.
No, it's not. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It helps tremendous. I'll tell you why. So he writes down with a marker, a special marker. He writes number 26, let's say. The mashgiach goes. He puts on a plumb bit. You know what? Let me see if I have a plumb bit. I'm going to show you what it looks like.
A plumb bit is like a clip, a metal clip. Hey guys, prepare questions. I know this is a little off our topic, but I guess you'll get a better view of how the shechita works. Everybody prepare some questions. I'm soon going to open up for everybody to ask. Zachary, you're asking a very.
Okay. Here I am.
Yeah.
So let's say, so he said it was number 26 was kosher. So the mashgiach has a special stamp that it says, let's say kosher, or it says whichever organization is OU or MK or whatever it is, and then he puts on such a thing like this. Okay, this is a
higher up. We can't see your camera.
You see, it has over here. You can write a date. Okay, which day of the week it was. This one says Gimel, which is Tuesday. Okay, he takes this and he sticks it in with a special piece of like a special knife. He sticks it into the animal. He takes it, and this is a siman kashrus. The whole carcass.
Well, that's on the whole animal. That's on the whole animal.
Every part that's kosher gets such a stamp. The tongue gets such a thing. The tongue or anything else, or the liver we're taking has such a thing.
Okay.
Now, this is one siman. Some say it's two because this also has over here a siman that says MK.
Right.
And this has.
Yeah.
Upside down.
Let me, Rabbi Marasow, I'm just going to deviate for a second. What he's trying to accomplish now, when meat gets cut up, the only way you could know, when we buy meat in the store, how do you know it's really kosher meat? It has to have shnei chesumas. We didn't learn it yet. Shnei chesumas. Certain things are enough. One chesum, one seal, and certain meat needs two chesumas. So just to say that it's kosher because it has a stamp is not good enough. So that he's trying to create where it's a double seal, a double approval. Okay, no.
We usually put with the stamp. We stamp the animal in like a few places. We do it on the brisket, on the shank, on the rib. Just to have it in a few. Plus, it has also a number. Okay, it was number 28. Now, this leaves the slaughterhouse, the abattoir. After that, I have nothing to do with it anymore because the abattoir goes afterwards, and they cut the animal, the front half, from the hind. Okay, the hind we don't eat because there's so much chaylev on it. We don't know how to take the chaylev up. But the front, I think it's like to the 12th rib or the 11th rib, comes to the butcher shop. A lot of times I get a WhatsApp, many times. Is this number good? Because another thing I didn't mention is, let's say by the end of the day we have 25 kosher. So I write down on a piece of paper and I write down all the kosher numbers that I had. I'll show you if you can see it, because we have.
You shechted today?
No. Could you see this?
Yeah. What is that?
You see, like there's a bunch of numbers on it.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
I see. We see scribble. Whatever.
Okay. This is sent to the butcher shops and to the rabbanim and to the mashgichim. The mashgichim get this. Okay. This is a log of every single number that was kosher. On this example, there was 12, 13, 28, 39, different numbers that were kosher. When he receives it, a day later, Who's he? The butcher. Butcher. There's a mashgiach standing by the entrance of the butcher shop, and he examines each animal that comes in. If it has this, each piece of meat has to have this, and it has to have a number, because to know if it's, sometimes a mashgiach could also make a mistake, and he mixes up the number, he puts the tag on the right. Everything could happen, so therefore it's double checked. And a lot of times I get a WhatsApp. What's with this number? We got this on. He forgot to write a number, or
And
so
what happens then?
we figure out which one it is. Usually doesn't forget it. But
How long you keep your record? Tomorrow you throw it away.
no, I keep it for 3 days.
Why?
Because it can come to the butcher shop a day later, 2 days later, because he has 72 hours.
Right.
He has till he makes a kosher.
1 second. Oh, the butcher makes it kosher? By you guys, the butcher makes it kosher?
Sure. Who makes the kosher? By you guys.
Rabashka Postman.
That's the butcher. That's the butcher.
So you said by Rabashkin over here, it's all in one place. The shchit is in one part.
That's called the butcher.
Oh, so you're not saying a delivery to the butcher? I thought it went through a delivery truck. No.
This goes from the slaughterhouse. It goes to the processor who does it kosher, which is we call it the butcher over here.
Okay, fine. But you're skipping something. What's about the chaylev? The chaylev goes before the melicha.
I didn't skip anything. So when the butcher gets it, and the mashgiach says, okay, this front of the animal is kosher, so we have to take off the chaylev now. So there's a bunch of guys that are standing there, and they put this part on this animal on the table. I don't know how they cut it up, like in a half or in a quarter. I don't know exactly. They cut it up, I think, they cut the rib and the brisket. They cut it in 2 or 3 pieces, and they take out the chaylev.
Here we have the comment. He says 5 pieces. A guy sitting next to me used to work in it.
I have no idea. I have no idea because I'm not a menakir, so I don't know.
He has a shoulder, or what? Yeah, you got a shoulder, a chuck, a brisket, flanken.
No, that's later. They do the rib and the plate. They do together, and then you have the brisket needs nikur, and the shoulder that goes into the shank needs nikur.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Well, you'll find it out. Yeah. Next.
Doesn't matter. It's the same piece of meat that needs nikur. But at the end of the table, it's like it's like a long table, and it gets passed around from one guy to another guy till by the end the menakir stands there, and he sees if this piece of meat was done properly, he lets it go further, and it has to go into hadacha. If it's not, he sends
hadacha is where we come in now. Okay?
Yeah, hadacha, right.
No, I'm saying until now, Rabbi side the shchita took place and the nikur took place, getting rid of the chaylev. We get into the picture. What we're learning is now. So now, after no more chaylev, obviously you guys realize that you can't do the melicha before the nikur, because then you're salting the chaylev into the meat.
That's no good. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to do the nikur first. What other parts? It says besides the chaylev? It says you got to take off the gidei adam. What happens before? What has to be taken out before you start doing the melicha?
Everything that has to be taken out, which is the gidei adam. I think they're in the chuck. From the brisket, it goes to the chuck, the shoulder to the chuck. You have to take it out over there.
Take what out? Speak English.
The veins that have blood in it.
Okay.
The tongue has veins that has to be taken out. What else? The spleen, they don't even do it anymore, but the spleen has a lot of veins, but it's nothing to do with dam, it has to do with chaylev.
The zroya, he says.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to a part of business that's not part of your business, but you know it anyway.
I never did. I don't do this because I'm the shochet. But you want me to tell you? I'll tell you. Then they make hadacha rishayna.
How do they do it?
They soak it in a container for half an hour.
But the mechaber says you don't need that. So the Sfardim still do that.
Everybody does it.
The mechaber says you don't need a hadacha chatzisha.
I'm just telling you how it's done.
I know the
I'm telling you how your mother used to do it.
Your mother's a charebitzin. I'm telling you what a Svardish guy in Taiman does.
I'm just telling you how Ashkenazim do it. A half an hour, Then you have to rinse it off.
Dry.
And then
You let it dip off, yeah.
okay, and then you salt it with thick salt. There has to be a lot of salt from every single side, mishnei tzdadim, and it has to be put on a slanted, either a keli menukav, which is, you guys are learning it already?
Yeah.
Or you put it b'makim modern, which is on a tilt.
So I saw how they do it in Postville. They have a chain-linked conveyor belt.
Okay.
A chain-link conveyor belt that they wrap their piece of meat with salt, and they put it in the bottom, and the conveyor belt to get from top to bottom takes about just over an hour.
Right. The same thing is by the chickens over here, which I see a lot. The chickens they're manually put salt in it, not by a machine.
Oh, the behemoth machine does it?
So can sein a spritzer, ich weiß nicht. I don't know, but I know I go to the chickens, I see it. There's 3 guys standing there.
But he says he does. But maybe now, even behemoths.
Yes.
He said when he was doing the Melicha 20 years ago, when he was there, they used to do it. Where were you? Over here in Minnesota somewhere.
Yeah.
So they used to do it by hand.
I think that's fine, because the machine sometimes it's not, you can't go exactly everywhere went through. And then I'll tell you, the chickens, they hang up the pulkas get hung up, and it takes an hour till it goes through.
And then once it goes, so they're not even putting it on the keli; it's hanging.
It's hanging. The whole thing is hanging, and then it goes into 1 keli, I think. And so it's kemelish gezenpunkt.
Okay.
But the Rabbanim told me that it's 3 keli.
Right. So now everything that we're learning, that the Melicha draws the blood. So when it's hanging, is it taka dripping blood?
There is blood, yeah. I mean, how much blood does the chicken have already? Or even the behemoth, most of the blood is gone. When you're salting a piece of meat, there's very little blood in the meat. It's not like the dam be'end is there and it's gistach, it's gone. There's nothing there. Just the meat itself has blood. It has to be taken off. But it's a little bit.
Okay. Rabbi Say, I want to give you guys a chance to ask some questions. I'm going to open up everybody's mic. Everybody, please take advantage. One question Zechariah asks, and this is, I'm sure you're going to walk on eggshells on this. Can you ask what is the treating the animals? I know in Goyish factories there are serious issues of tzar balachayim.
So what's the question?
How do you treat the animals?
Shechting is not something which I would say is the animal likes it. I can't say the animal likes to be shechted. What should I say?
Yeah, but it's okay. Say, come, let us see you.
I'm gonna jump in over here.
Ich sage gar nicht.
In terms of the shita, watch
Coming.
the animal. Watch the animal when it's shechted. Watch the animal
I don't hear.
before it's shechted, and watch the animal after it's shechted. And don't get distracted by looking at all the blood and gore that's coming out. Watch the animal's eyes. If the animal is shechted properly, it never moves and it gets shechted.
I can't hear a word.
Oh, you can't hear it. So they didn't hear you. Come close. They can't hear you. You have to come here.
The animal never
What's the shadow?
tells that it got shechted. You can see by the animal's response to the pizza that it never even felt it, because it's doing exactly the same thing that it did before it was shechted as it's doing after it's shechted, and then it just slowly fades out and loses consciousness and dies. It's not the same way with the Goyish shechita, where you can see the incredible trauma and the incredible pain that the animal feels at the time that it's killed. Shechita is totally different. There is no, I do not believe the whole European Union that's trying to outlaw Shechita, because they're talking about Sar Balachayim. They don't begin to know call what's really going on with the animal. They're feeling bad because they think, oh, if someone was sticking a knife by my throat, I would feel bad. The animal doesn't feel a thing. The animal never even knows that he got killed.
No, you're right. The animal doesn't know that it was shechted.
Mashanking when it's being shot.
At that time, when it's shot, that split second is tremendous pain. That split second.
So why do the guy insist shooting over shechting?
You have to ask them, because they love the Jews, nothing else.
I wanted to, but okay, I might as well bring up when you spoke about shooting. Every time we teach Melicha, I bring a story. When I was in Australia 35 years ago, there was a story going around that there was short a Shochet there. So Rabbi Groner brought in his mechutin. He brought in the Zirkin to come shech. Zirkin came off the plane. He went to the Shechita house. He saw that after they shech the animal, they shoot it. He went on the next plane back home. Why? So let me explain, because that's Nagaya to Melicha. Nagaya to Melicha, even though the animal was shechted, a lot of places insist that the animal should be shot. When the animal is shot after the shechita, it shocks the blood. So the blood is pirish mimakim lemakim. Dam shapirish mimakim lemakim, you can't get out anymore by Melicha. Melach only takes out blood if it is where it was. If it moved around, you can't. So that's an issue. You want to elaborate that, Rabbi Marasow?
Some Rabbanim say that it's good. Some Rabbanim say it's not.
Reb Moshe allowed it for Australia because there's no way they're going to override it. So he says you're not going to. Like you tell Australia the chest and flesh. So he said if that's the only choice.
But everybody agrees that sometimes they do it like after the animal's already dead. After Yitzis HaNefesh, there's no problem.
But it doesn't shock the blood?
After Yitzis HaNefesh, no.
All right, who else?
And anyways, Al-Alter writes that that it wasn't Nechtach Ever. But anyways, the behemoth is cut up into how many pieces you said? 4 pieces or 5 pieces each side before the Melicha, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Mati from South Africa, you have nothing to ask?
South Africa. Who's Mati from South Africa?
You know, Mati Grumman. You see Mati Grumman?
No,
he's raising.
In South Africa, they shoot the animals after the shechita.
They do?
Yeah, sure.
Mati,
20 seconds. Officially 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Mati, you want to say something?
I'll find out. I didn't think so, actually, that they shoot the animals.
If he said,
I don't want to bring a whole controversy in the shechita in South Africa, so.
I think you were once brought down to Shecht in South Africa, no?
More once.
What, they don't have Shechtim? They don't have Shechtim there?
He made a Simcha, so they asked me to replace him.
Wow. So you have to import somebody from the Hudson Bloods. How about Usher?
What's your question?
Mati, what's your question?
I don't have a question.
Rabbi Marasow, you know why most of the guys here today are quiet? Because half of the class is already with me for a month. 3 or 4 of these chevra are just started with me. They're still afraid to say something. Usher,
there's a shochet here, so they're scared.
Yehuda, you want to say something? I see you raising your hand. Raise your hand.
Yeah. So there's in Eretz Yisrael.
Say your name and where you're from. So you know.
See, Yehuda.
My name is Yehuda Gian, and I'm from Los Angeles. So there's a growing number of Sephardi Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael that are saying to not eat meat at all because the percentages that come out kosher are just too low for it to be possible for kosher meat in such numbers to get to the stores. How true is this?
You're talking about Amnon Yitzchak?
Yeah, and a few other Rabbanim.
No, it's a very good point because Moshe also said about the calves, the veal that we eat. Also, there's a very low percentage. So usually you say it's only the amount of treif is only a mute. But if it's a rav, so then you say the whole min is no good.
Right.
But most of the times that we don't take something is not because it's not kosher min Torah. It's either we don't know, we're not so professional that we could take off all the sirchas, or sometimes we don't even want to bother because we're only taking the glata. We don't want to have the just plain kosher. So there's no market for it. So therefore, I'm saying it's a very small percentage because min Torah is a very much higher percentage. That's a very good question.
I'm going to tell you a little story, which is not at all cholek on the situation of percentages, but it's something that's happening.
Who's talking? Who's talking?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's something that happened. So we're by the Shechita, and we get in a lot of cattle, which is a truckload, which is 40 head. We got in 40 head of cattle, and they shechted them, and we're and the Shechita was all good because we professional shechtim. So we're checking those cattle. We're doing bedika. And every single one of them, not every single one of them, there were 2 of them that were not glot. There was one of them that was a treifa, but out of that truckload of 40 cattle, 37 of them were glot kosher. No stirchas, nothing. Now,
possible.
When I did some investigation, I took a look. I at the guy who was receiving. I said, "Where did these cattle come from?"
Exactly.
I'd never seen such a thing before. So he told me, these cattle came from the university program, the university agricultural program, where they raise cattle and teach people how to raise cattle. And those cattle are treated better than your kids. And that's what happened. But I have mazel tov, no simchas. So it turned out that but I was amazed. Glot out of that whole truckload, almost every one of them glot kosher.
Yeah, it happens. Very seldom, but it does happen.
All right, who else? Guys, we almost used up our whole time. David, you want to ask something? Hello? Anybody else? Oh, sure.
Let's see, am I open now? I became a vegetarian, so it doesn't matter.
Sure, but your kids are shechting themselves out there, no?
Right. Yeah, I'll tell them to join the shear next time.
So just to make sure, what I think I heard is when you inspect the organs, right? And this may be my medical side talking. You're required to look at the organs that are likely to have problems.
Right.
But the other organs, if you happen to see a problem, then it is still not kosher. But you're not required to inspect every vital organ, correct?
Correct.
And the things you're looking for are the blemishes or the adherences, correct?
Correct.
It's the doctor and me saying, as you were talking about the heart and the membrane, my mind's thinking pericarditis.
Could be that's what it's called, but
So can I ask a question again?
It says by the heart. Normally, if there is a I would say a little hole in one of the vital organs. So in the halacha, it brings a chelef taher soisim, chelef tameh einu soisim. Chelef, which is permitted to eat, can block that hole, and we'll consider that kosher. And if it's chelef tameh, which is from the hind part of the animal, it's not soisim. The only exception is in the heart, because since the heart, the heart itself, the muscle of the heart is very, very tough and flat. So the fat around the heart is not going to protect it if there's a little hole or something. Just to elaborate on what you were talking about, the heart. That's why when what do you call that medical term of that part of the heart when the tarfish, the membrane around the heart is stuck to the heart.
Right. Yeah. It's called the pericardium. So the pericardium is the membrane, and there's a thin layer of fluid normally that separates it from the heart.
That's okay. And sometimes
it sticks to the heart.
Right, and we don't take the animals. I even have a picture. I saw one lately. I took a picture from it.
Rabbi Marasow, are you saying that every shochet has to be a half a doctor?
Yeah, for sure. But the only problem is that his patients don't make it.
Which preview? The second one?
All right, Mucky. Usher, you got to mute your mic.
Marasow, so you said that you were in South Africa a few times to Shecht, and my question relates. I'm not sure if you know the history. There used to be what they call the Beth Din Kosher over here, and
Sure,
the Chabad the Babish community had their own what they called Mahadran.
I know,
And then the Beth Din community, like they upped their kashrus, and they became a Hadran, and the Chabad community became a Hadran commission. Right. I want to know. You spoke about glut kosher and not knowing what it is with regards to chickens. I've spoken a few times to some shechtim over here who are the babish but don't shecht for Mahadran commission.
Right.
How different is the process that the Mahadran commission process follows here to what you do back home?
You have to ask the shechtim in South Africa. I don't know.
One of the things I could suggest is split chickens. Split chickens only. It's a chumrah that Alter Rebbe suggests. So, and not every place splits the chicken up so much.
I don't think you would find it Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch.
It's in the chuvas.
That you have to cut the chicken in half.
Right. It's in the chuvas. It's how chuvas.
I don't. Rabbi Handel. We split all the chickens over here in Montreal, but he told me that even today, that since they do it by hand. So even if it was split, he will still pass it. But all the chicken.
Even if it was split, if it wasn't, even what?
If it wasn't, because it used to be that it wasn't done by hand. So you don't know if the salt went inside. But everything is done by hand. And the way the guy with the zalzer, we call him a zalzer, he sticks in a lot of salt in there. And then you hang up the chicken. What's the difference? But
how was it used to be done? How was it done?
There was like a big drum years ago. There was like a big drum. The chickens used to go inside, and the salt used to come from don't ask me from where. And it used to tumble, and it used to be full of salt. So then he always made sure that there has to be split chicken. But now it's different. I don't know what's how they do it in the States. I'm just talking about where by Marvin. The chicken is split. All the Lubavitch chicken is split. I think most of the chickens are split.
Yeah, but in the States, I think only David Elliott splits the chicken.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the most of the other. I don't even know. I had Rabbi Segel on once. I think he told me that even in Postville they don't split the chickens.
Right, because it's done. They know they get the salt in, and they hang up the chicken probably. So it's not sitting in a kelim menukim.
Okay, somebody wants to know. Could you tell them exactly what split chicken? What are you splitting more? Let me just give you an introduction. For the salting that we're learning about to get everywhere. Split chickens is to cut it up even more that the salt should reach all places. But
you split the back.
Huh?
You split the back all the way across, the whole back.
So you can't. If you have a split chicken, you're never going to get a whole chicken. You're never going to buy a small Cornish hen. Is that right?
Something like that. You could buy a Cornish hen, but it's split. If you want to make a barbecue, you got to tie it up, or you have those
hooks
rotisserie that sticks in.
Rabbi Marasow, you should know that your hour that you gave us, it must be considered limit Torah, because if not for you, there would have been an hour shear. So your mama should.
You got away easy.
Come on, Rabbi. For all the new guys who haven't heard yet the shear, please, after this, listen to the recording of the other shears to catch up. Okay. Anybody else want to ask Rabbi Marasow something? Anybody? Avi.
Nobody wants to talk. Okay.
All right, Shochet, thank you very much.
No problem. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. Kol Tuv.
Kol Tuv,
Okay,